Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing a review or comparison between Jane's Be Pure Mineral Gel Eyeliner and L'Oreal HIP's Color Truth Cream Eyeliner. I actually got several colors from Rite Aid sales this week. I got blue, black, and brown. The black I had a little bit earlier. And I got 4 eyeliners, eggplant, teal, brown, and midnight blue. So, I'm doing this video because I really couldn't find any video on YouTube that exclusively compared just Jane with the L'Oreal. So, I hope this video does that comparison for you and you'll be able to see how the two products compare. So I'll be right back. Let me unpackage everything and do swatches on my hand. Hey, welcome back. So I'm going to be doing the rest of my review on packaging, price, and quality. In terms of packaging, both are very similar. They're both in glass jars with a screw on top. Jane is a little bit taller, and then the HIP one, which is a little bit flatter. But I like the L'Oreal one a little bit better because you can see the color from the bottom of the jar, whereas the Jane one, you kind of have to like look at it through the sides. So maybe the L'Oreal HIP one in terms of packaging is a little bit better. And also the HIP one and the Jane one both come with a included small angle brush. In terms of the quality of the brushes, the Jane one is definitely a lot better. The bristles are much softer, whereas the HIP ones, I feel like the quality on this was very compromised. The bristles, you know, when you look at it, they look stiff and hard and abrasive, something you wouldn't even want to touch your eyes. And definitely when I put it against my eye and I try to like rub it the other way, it definitely does not want to go the other way. It's definitely a one direction kind of deal. Basically I would chuck this out, throw it away in the trash, and use something you can rely on. I use a NYX B19 liner brush, got off of cherryculture.com. I think it was like $6 or $7. But anyways, the brushes don't really matter because you're not going to use them. Alright, next, in terms of price, the L'Oreal HIP one regular retail is $12, and the Jane one regular retail at Rite Aid is $5.99, so $6. So the HIP one costs you twice as much as the Jane one, unless you get it on sale. So Rite Aid this week has a buy one get one free on their HIP cosmetics. So that means it's actually, you pay like $6 for each one because you get 2, so 2 for $12, so 1 is $6, which is comparable to the Jane ones, which by itself, not on sale, is $6. So, but is it worth it? Is it worth your money? And that really is determined by the quality, right? So quality of the 2 eyeliners, if I had to choose, I would get the L'Oreal HIP liner, because after using this one, I realized that Jane really isn't that good. At first I was a big fan of Jane, but then I bought the L'Oreal HIP, and on a daily basis I've been using the HIP a lot more. It's creamier, it doesn't dry out as fast when you're applying it. You need a lot less because you can kind of smooth it out, it doesn't dry out. Whereas the Jane one, you kind of really have to work fast, and with this stuff you really can't work that fast. So on a daily basis, I do use the HIP ones a lot more. But the one bad thing about L'Oreal HIP one is that it's not that great on your waterline. I try to use it to just line my waterline, but it just doesn't stick. It just won't stay. It'll like run off. It won't even apply. Like, you'll put your brush to your waterline and you won't even see color there. You'll see it under on your lash line, but not on your waterline. Whereas the Jane product is great for your waterline. So it's kind of a dilemma because you need both products, but you don't want to carry both because that's just inconvenient, right? It's like 2 times the weight to do one job. So, I mean, it's great if you're at home, if you're applying makeup, but if you want to like do touch-ups during the day, then that gets a little problematic. And then, in terms of color, I mean, they're both highly pigmented, except I think the L'Oreal one is a little bit more true to color. Like, what you see in the jar is the color you're going to get. So, this is the first one, and it's pretty true to color. The brown is this brown. The first line that you see, that one, is basically what you see in the jar, whereas the Jane one is not so true to color. What you see in the jar is a very light brown, but what you see as a swatch is the second line right there. What you see as a swatch is definitely much darker. So it's, you know, it's a little tricky, it's a little deceiving. And the same goes with the blue one, actually. So I did a swatch of the blue, the Midnight Blue. This is the L'Oreal one, and you know, it's true to color, the third swatch. Whereas this is the Jane Mineral Navy. You know, this looks like a blue, but on your arm, you know, it's not as blue. Or maybe, well, the blue one, I guess, is a little bit closer, is true to color, but the brown definitely isn't. And another thing I liked about the HIP ones is that it comes in this amazing teal color, whereas the Jane one only comes in 4 colors: black, brown, blue, and purple or violet. The HIP one comes with this extra teal color, and this is such a pretty color. It has like, it's just like, it makes your eyes just pop out. And that's this one right here, the last one. So L'Oreal comes out with one more color choice than the Jane one, but I don't know, you're really not going to be wearing this teal color too much. So maybe that's why, like, Jane didn't really create a green. But overall, they're both really good products. If you don't want to spend, you know, too much money, if you happen to miss a sale, then the Jane one will do. But if you're looking for something that you can use consistently on a daily basis, if you're new to using, you know, cream eyeliners or gel eyeliners, or you know, anything else besides pencil liners, then the HIP one would be, I would say, easier to work with. And also, when you take it off, when you're trying to take it off, the Jane one is really hard to take off. It just has so much staying power. It just sticks to your skin and it won't come off. Like, I'll be using my Pond's, you know, wet cleaning towels, makeup remover towels, and I'll just have to like scrub to get the Jane off. Whereas the HIP ones are also a lot more, they're easier to remove. You just swipe it off and it comes all off. Whereas the Jane, like, you'll see a residue and you'll have to like scrub it, which is something that you don't really want to be doing to your eyes because it's a delicate skin area. So, yeah. Okay. So, Jane ones, you need it for your waterline, but HIP ones, better for your eyes. More expensive. It really depends on what you're looking for, how much you're willing to spend. But you know what? I would say HIP one wins in terms of packaging and quality. because there's really nothing you can, I don't know, quality is something that you have to pay a price for. But if you get it at the buy one get one free sales, then you know it's definitely worth it. So check it out. Alright, thanks for watching.